Hello and welcome to my very first video of this format where I'm going to be walking you through my thought process when it comes to planning for my own family vacations. Specifically, we are planning a Disney cruise and I'm so excited to bring you along with me. So we are about 160 days out. Let's talk about all of the things that I am doing as a travel professional to prepare for my family's trip. If you're new here, welcome. I'm also new here, so I hope we can be friends. My name is Kayla. I am a travel expert and I help families plan vacations to all Disney destinations. I also co-own Simple Magic Travel Company, and we have an incredible team that can help you plan your own vacation as well. I'm gonna be sharing today all about how to be prepping for your Disney cruise, some of the things that you should be checking off your to-do list early on in the planning to make sure that your cruise goes off without a hitch. I'm really excited and I love planning Disney cruises. They're my absolute favorite vacation, both to go on and to plan, so let's get started. Okay, let's talk about what we're actually doing. So I am taking my family on a Disney cruise in May. So we're about 160 days out from our check-in on the cruise. So we're gonna be talking about what I am doing as a travel professional at this point in the planning. I should also add, at this point, my cruise is booked. I have already gone through all of my options, and if you are not using a travel agent at this point in the process, you should be, because travel professionals like myself can help you work through all of the details of what cruise ship you should be on, or what itinerary you should choose, or what port of calls you should be visiting, or what departure ports you should be sailing out of. So many different features and so many different aspects that go into planning a cruise, and I highly recommend working with a travel planner. If you are interested in working with one of our travel agents from Simple Magic Travel, I have our agency quote request form listed in the description below. Please go ahead and fill that out, and I will personally connect you with the travel planner that would be the best fit for your family. Okay, let's get on to the details. So we're traveling out of Port Canaveral. Our cruise is booked, our stateroom is chosen, the itinerary is chosen, all of that is done. So all of those boxes are checked at this point. Now we are just moving into what we should actually be planning once all of those things are set in stone, right? So the very first thing that I am doing is making sure that I am linking my cruise reservation to my Disney Cruise Line Navigator app. That is going to be an app that you can download on your phone, and it just tells you everything you need to know about your cruise, and it's listed in one handy dandy app. Some of the information that you are going to need is not going to be visible at this point, like port adventures or excursions that you are going to be booking, or activities that are going to be happening on the ship. Those will not open until later on. So at this point, it's just going to be an entry-level snapshot of exploring the ship or seeing what your stateroom is, and seeing the countdown, I think, is my absolute favorite portion of this app. It is so fun, it's interactive, it changes with the characters. My kids are constantly asking to see the app and see which characters we're getting for the day or what our current countdown is, all of the things. So step one, you definitely want to go ahead and link your reservation to your Navigator app. That is definitely a must do. Okay, so our Disney Cruise Line Navigator app is linked. Our reservation is showing. We have that really fun countdown. Check. What's next? The next thing that I recommend doing, and I recommend doing this as soon as possible, is taking a look at your travel documents. This is your passports, your license, making sure that none of them are going to expire close to your trip, or making sure that you have those documents. I have worked with so many families that need a birth certificate and they can't find their birth certificate, or their kid's birth certificate got completely wet and ruined and they need to get a copy. So starting that process now, where we have 160 days or more before your cruise to figure out all of those details, is so much better than needing to figure it out like 2 weeks before you travel. So I absolutely recommend checking those travel documents. In addition to checking your travel documents, I recommend going ahead and looking into purchasing some kind of a carrying case or a passport organizer or a file folder if you're taking birth certificates, and having that organization tool ready for you. In order to keep my family's documents organized, this is what I use. It is a cheapo $12 file folder organizer, if you will, that I got off of Amazon, and it opens up. It has a little button that snaps and keeps everything inside. And I keep our passports in here. I keep my kids' birth certificates in here. And I keep a file folder with all of our important documents when it comes to our specific sailing. I keep it all in this little folder, and it keeps everything organized. While you won't have everything that you need to fill this folder right now at that 160-day mark, because you literally aren't gonna have it, it's not a bad idea to go ahead and start thinking about how you're gonna organize your travel documents, where you're gonna put everything at, and going ahead and just checking that purchase off the list, because it's such an easy one to make, and it's something that is so, so handy. I know where this is at all times, and whenever we need to travel, I just grab it. Everything lives in here, and we are good to go. So making sure that you have your travel documents set early is going to be a sigh of relief for you, trust me, because if you're going to get on that ship and you don't have the documents that you need, you're not gonna get on the ship. So this is a very important piece. The next thing that I absolutely recommend doing is mapping out your milestones, mapping out your final payments. Are you on a payment plan? Are you wanting to make payments on your cruise in order to make it easier to navigate? Because cruises can be expensive. Vacations in general can be expensive, but a cruise, you're paying for all of your activities and your food and everything, all of your entertainment. You're paying for it up front. So it can be a little bit more of like a sticker shock type of deal for a lot of us, myself included. And having a payment plan and then marking that on your calendar. I'm gonna pay X amount every Friday from now until it's paid off. And this is something that if you're working with a Simple Magic travel agent, you can set up a payment plan with your travel agent, and they'll be able to help you manage those payments and help you with reminders, making sure that you're staying on track with what your goals are. And it's so helpful. It's just so helpful having somebody else in your corner to kind of guide you along in the process. Regardless, making sure that you're mapping out your payments. If you're not making a payment plan, if you're not like making monthly payments or whatever, at least mapping out in your calendar your final payment date. Like, when do you have to have that payment made by? Because that is a very important piece, because if you don't make your payment, your cruise is gonna get canceled. And that's no fun. So definitely map out your milestone reminders. And this goes far beyond just your final payment. It goes into your excursions. When can you book your excursions? When do you need to be making your online check-in? When does that process start? So mapping out your milestones, putting them on paper somewhere, putting them on a calendar, putting it in your phone, whatever you need to do in order to make sure that you are remembering these milestones is incredibly important. This is another reason why working with a travel agent is so helpful, because you don't have to necessarily worry about these reminders. Your Simple Magic travel agent is going to be reminding you of these things. So, okay, moving on. Another thing that a lot of people may not think of, but I am thinking of, is my dining time. You may be thinking, Kayla, why are you worried about your dining time? It's a big deal to a lot of people. And I currently, because I did book my cruise a little bit late, which is shocking because we booked it like almost 200 days in advance. But still, people book cruises and they fill up very, very quickly. So making sure that your cruise is booked earlier will allow you to not have to deal with this step. But I'm a last minute planner, so it's totally fine. Your dining time. The Disney cruise, there are 2 dining times. There's going to be the main dining, which is at 5:45, and then there's going to be late dining, which is at 8:15, which is late, right? An 8:15 dinner for my family is very late. The way that that's going to look on the ship is, for the families and travelers that have the main dining, you're gonna go to your main dining and then you have the show after. So if you have 5:45 dining, there's gonna be an 8 o'clock or an 8:15 or an 8:30 show, so that you're able to hit both your dining time and your show. The families and travelers that have the late dining, it's gonna be flip-flopped. So you are gonna go to the show first and then go to dinner after. Now, I have only cruised with my family once. We were on the Disney Wish and it was amazing. Just the best experience. Our best family vacation, hands down. That's beside the point. We had late dining and it was fine. It was fine. I thought my kids did great. And for reference, my kids are, when we were on the ship, they were six, because I have a set of twins. So the twins were 6 and Carter was 11. So they were totally fine with that late dining. We went to the show, we did dinner, it was fine. A way that we kind of navigated that late dining was we went and got a snack or went up to the pool deck and they had like first dinner and then they had second dinner. So it was great. They were happy. They got 2 dinners. I have all boys and all they do is eat non-stop. So they were living their best life having 2, sometimes 3 dinners. So it was totally fine for us. But I think for this sailing, we're gonna try to prioritize the early dining. But because we booked our cruise late, I promise this is gonna make sense. We booked our cruise late, the early dining, the main dining time of 5:45 was already full. So we are on the wait list for the early dining. Currently we have late dining. At this point, if you want to switch your dining time for whatever reason, you need to go ahead and decide that now because you can go in and swap it and you can swap for 5:45 or 8:15 and if it's full, you can get put on the wait list. That's what we're doing. We're on the wait list. I'm not worried about it either way. I have sailed with late dining far more than I have with early dining. I actually just did early dining for the first time on my last cruise and it was fine, but I think I prefer late dining. But anyways, that's beside the point. At this point, you should be planning your dining time, whatever one that is. The next thing that you should be mapping out at this point are your travel plans. And this is something that for me, it kind of it's a slower planning process than the rest of the things that I've already listed out because I am constantly changing my plans. This is something that could be an evolving part of the planning process. And if you're like me and you like to change your plans, that's totally fine. I'm constantly adding days, taking days away, changing itineraries, all of the things. So as of right now, we are planning on going down one night before the cruise. And this is 110%. If you take anything away from this video, please make it be this. 110% non-negotiable. The biggest piece of advice here. Go down the day before your cruise. I have seen families have their flights canceled, have a flat tire on the way down to Florida, and they're missing their cruises. And you don't want that to be you. So please, please, please drive down the night before, fly down the night before, and have a relaxing morning knowing that you're gonna get on this ship, okay? Anyways, we're planning on driving to Florida from Virginia. Yes, we're the crazy people that drive. It just serves our family a little bit better, and that's what we prefer. So we're gonna be driving down to Florida the day before we get on the boat, and we're going to be staying on property at a Disney hotel. And this is our preference because we are sailing out of Port Canaveral, so it's just such an easy transfer, and we absolutely could drive and go and stay at a hotel close to the port, but like, we can't be that close to Walt Disney World and not visit. It feels wrong to me. So we're absolutely gonna be staying at a Disney resort. On our last cruise, we stayed at the Contemporary. If you don't know already, you're gonna know now. We are big, big fans of the Contemporary. It is one of our favorite resorts, and I think it truly does have such a special feeling to my family because we just have so many good times there. It's truly not about the resort itself because there are other resorts that I think have more bells and whistles than the Contemporary does, but we just love it. We feel at home there. I don't know how to explain it. It just feels so homey. So I don't think we're gonna stay at the Contemporary. We might, I don't know. Regardless, we're gonna be going down one night and we're gonna be booking a pre-cruise hotel. So that is something that I absolutely recommend doing. Now, if you're working with a Simple Magic travel agent, they will be able to help connect all of these reservations and get that booked for you so that you don't have to be worrying about it. They're gonna help you figure out which resort is gonna be best for your family. But I know way too much about all of the Disney resorts, so I'm gonna probably let my kids choose, maybe, probably not, but we will see. Regardless, we're gonna go down and stay the night before. Naturally, the next thing that I'm gonna talk about is your post-cruise plans. What are you doing after the cruise? And I have a funny story to tell about our last cruise. So we drove down and we stayed one night at the Contemporary, like I just explained, and we got on the Disney Wish for a 4-night sailing. It was fabulous. The Wish is just such a beautiful ship. The cruise itinerary was perfect. We had one day at Nassau, one day at Castaway Cay, one day at sea. It was just amazing. And my family loved it so much. And we had plans on disembarking the ship and just driving home. And that just seems so painful to me. And maybe I am just crazy, I don't know. But I kept telling my husband, his name's Cameron, I kept telling Cameron, I just don't want this to end. I just don't want this to end. And he was like, Kayla, it's done. Like, no, we're going home. And I was just like, okay, whatever. So we're on the cruise. It is our very last day. We're getting ready. We're heading to breakfast. We're about to sit down and eat breakfast. And I look at him and I say, Cameron, I just don't think I can go home today. And he was like, let's look at the weather. I don't know. He's like, let's look at the weather. So we looked at the weather. Rain the whole way from Florida all the way up 95 to Virginia. It was just going to be raining and storming and gross and cold. And I was like, can we please just stay one more day? And he said, yes, let's stay one more day. So at breakfast, at our breakfast table, we were eating breakfast, like pancakes, waffles, Mickey waffles, booking a night at the Polynesian. So we ended up booking a night and then just drove there and surprised the kids. And it was the best addition and the best ending to our trip. I can't even put it into words. But don't be like me and don't wait until your family is at breakfast to make those plans. Don't be like me. So just plan for your whatever it is that you're going to want to do. Now, if you want to be spontaneous, I support it. I'm here for it. No judgment whatsoever, but it would have been a lot easier, and our breakfast would have been, not that our breakfast was stressful by any means, but like we would have been able to enjoy our breakfast and just mosey off. And we also would have been able to have like an extra bag in our car that we could have pulled from for our Polynesian stay, like with swimsuits and, extra jammies and travel day clothes for the next day. I would have been a little bit more prepared had I not on the fly booked an extra night at the Polynesian, which was crazy, but it was just amazing. I cannot say enough good things about having an extra night after your cruise. It really just helps you breathe, helps you relax a little bit more. It's almost like that bookend to your vacation. So you have your bookends, you have your pre-cruise day, you have your post-cruise day, you have your cruise in the middle. It's just perfect. Chef's kiss. 10 out of 10 recommend. So if you are going to be doing a post-cruise stay, I would start thinking about that now. You don't have to have the process completely set in stone, but definitely start thinking about when you should be driving home. Are you disembarking on a Saturday, and do you need to be home and ready by Sunday? What does your schedule look like? For us, we are disembarking the ship on a Friday, which leaves so much room for activities. So I'm very excited to see kind of what I come up with. I am playing around with the idea of adding on a Walt Disney World trip on the end of the cruise, but I don't know yet. I have not decided. I also would love to add in a vacation in like January. So regardless, you should start looking at that. I am looking at my schedule. I'm looking at my husband's work schedule. We're looking at when we should be home. We're looking at how long our dog sitter can watch our dog, and we're starting that process. So at this point, 160 days out, we're starting to think about it. All right, those are the things that I am doing right now. Those are the things that I recommend that you start doing, or you and your travel agent start doing when you are early on in the planning process for your Disney cruise. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that it was helpful, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.